Hi, this is Vicky with Learning Home Volunteers, and welcome to our new learning session on trees and Thanksgiving. Two great fall events. As I drove into work today, I saw all kinds of trees either losing their leaves or the leaves turning to magnificent shades of yellow, green, orange, and red. As an adult, it's really hard to remember that the little ones this may be the first time they actually remember the leaves turning or remember eating turkey at Thanksgiving or the other treats that you might serve during the holidays. So, in this session, is set to explore some of these new things, taking a little time to look closer, smell the smells, listens for the sounds that the leaves make in the wind, slow down and experience with your child, and remember your special memories to share. Well, as usual, um, we have some great books for the session. Who would have thought that there are so many books about leaves and trees and Thanksgiving? It was actually really hard to make a choice. But our first book is an award winning book because of the amazing illustrations by one of our favorite authors, Louise Eckhart. In addition to the magnificent pictures, we get to learn a little bit about how trees grow. Our second book is a nonfiction book that basically covers the tree life cycle. So the tree grows up, and we get to see what that life cycle is with pictures. And in your box, we've actually included a seed from a maple tree so that you can see how big trees all start with a little tiny seed. And our last book is about the holiday of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a holiday which started as a harvest holiday to celebrate all that grew through the summer and spring. People gathered with friends and family and had a big feast. Well, Bear wants to have a party, but his cupboard is bare. But don't worry, nobody's going to go hungry. And I think his friends are going to come to the rescue. Well, let's get to our activities. This is activity number one. You're going to need to find a tree, which means you're going to need to go outside. As you go search for your tree, don't forget to take some paper. We've included a number of sheets and a flat crayon to make the rubbing. Sometimes it's helpful to have a little bit of tape so that you can lay it down there so the child doesn't actually have to hold the paper. The outer covering of a tree is called bark, and it protects the tree in our workings, kind of like our skin does. Each different tree has its own look. So to make the rubbing, you want to place the paper on the bark and then hold it tight against it or use tape. And then take your crayon and rub it on the paper, which is sitting on the bark. And what transfers is actually the ridges and textures of the bark, which is really cool. Well, this is activity number two. There's really nothing more amazing than laying on the ground and looking up at the structure of a tree, the trunk, the branches which are attached, some big and heavy, some growing from the bigger ones, all to hold the leaves which nourish the tree. We thought it might be really kind of fun to get your children to actually make a tree of their own, and seeing that that's probably never going to happen for them as a child turning into a tree. That'd be horrible, huh? We've actually included two paper bags to try to make a tree. I would first start by twisting the bag at the end like this, and then cut strips. These will end up being your branches. And twist the little strips into branches and combining, multiple to make the bigger ones and the singles to make single bankers. And then you can glue little pieces of paper to pretend like they're leaves on the branches. Pretty cute, huh? Well, this is activity number three, but the next couple activities use the leaves provided by our great leaf donor. These leaves come from trees all the way in Colorado, and fall has already come and gone there. They just had their first snowfall this past weekend. We will use the leaves for this dry leaf um, activity, leaf tracing, which is our next activity. And if there are any left over, we'll use them for leaf crowns. It dawned on us um, to do this little activity because we found little bits of leaves in the box when they arrived, and they looked like teeny tiny leaves. So we thought we could use them to make a tree out of dried leaves. Now, if your house is anything like mine, there are tons of dried leaves on the ground when I walk. Those would work too. So in your box, you have a tree outline that has been hand drawn, and using a glue stick, your little learner can attach the dried leaf bits to make leaves on their trees. Did you know how to notice how the leaves smell? And when you crinkle them, the noises that they make? The fresh ones seem to me to smell differently than the dry ones, but you should go outside and figure that out for yourself. This is activity number 4, leaf tracing and sorting. And before we get to the tracing, have you had a chance to sort through your leaves? They can be sorted by color or size or shape. And if we knew more about the trees, we could even be able to tell from the leaf what tree it came from. Now, you can trace these leaves with crayons, colored pencils, even oil pastels. To trace, you want to put the leaf flat on the table and then put a piece of paper over the leaf. You can tape the paper down over the leaf if you have a really tiny little one who has a hard time holding it, and then using the flat part of the crayon, rub over the leaf. Check out how easy it is to see the structure of the leaf when we do that. The ridges down the center of the leaf, which by the way is called the midrib, and the line going out to the different parts of the leaf from the midrib are the veins that actually feed the tree and how the leaves pass the nutrition back to the tree itself. I love how the tracing helps us see the secret of the leaves. Next week, we're going to make leaf crowns, so don't throw any of your extra leaves away.